man.
I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I will beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Let's get it all!
Yo, welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. And guys, before I get into it today, I just want you guys to know, I'm not sitting here trying to, break news. I'm not trying to be the first one to report on stuff. And truly, I'm not even here to really give a shit about subscribers or, my YouTube following or whatever. I don't really care about that. Honestly, I strictly only do this stuff to, connect with other MMA fans out there. If you guys have watched my videos before, I say this all the time. I have a bunch of friends, but I don't have friends that know the sport as well as, I think I do, or, some of you guys have been commenting and everything, which I really appreciate it. The comments are overwhelming. It's pretty awesome for real. And trust me, I love it. But, the one thing is, I'm not trying to sit here, break news, not trying to be famous, not anything. I don't give a shit about that. And I mean, I'm sure some of you guys can probably tell by the way my mic sounds. I get comments all the time like, oh, we got to fix the audio. Guys, I'm learning here. I'm just sitting here trying to talk about my favorite sport. So, this brings us straight into it. I'm not trying to be an Ariel Helwani. I'm not trying to be a Woj or the NBA or anything like that. I don't care about being the first to report on stuff. I literally just sitting back, digesting it, coming at it pretty, with a free mind and an open space. I don't want to come in here and overreact on a fighter, overreact on a promotion just to get some views. I really don't care. So, this brings me perfectly into this. I'm on a roll this week. I got a bunch of videos out if you guys want to watch them. I've been going hard. And not really necessarily trying to. It's just all this news is coming out at the same time. So, yesterday I posted a video about Francis signing with the PFL, and it was pretty exciting. I still kind of think it might not be the best move for his legacy, but like I said in the video, I don't think Francis cares about his legacy. You know what I'm saying? I think he cares more about making sure his family's okay, making sure he's happy, and it's more so for people like us fans that are going to sit here and talk about the legacy, talk about the GOATs and all these things. So. It left the UFC scrambling yesterday. And, it's not only is it PFL with this big signature, this big signing, and, their $1 million tournaments they've been doing. Bellator has been really stepping up their fight cards. They've been really good. They've been putting up the double title fights in one night, this big fight they got in Chicago. They've been going to Hawaii. They've been doing their thing. One Championship just made their move to the US, and they're really blowing up. It's a beautiful time to be alive right now when you're an MMA fan. But the one thing we're starting to notice is UFC starting to scramble a little bit. I don't know if you guys are noticing this, but yesterday that big signing of Francis, they're like, oh well, shit, we got to get some news out there. So Dana does his thing with the the fight announcement and stuff that he's been doing on YouTube, and he did actually drop one of the biggest fight cards of the year probably, and it's UFC 291 coming up here. And, it's headlined by Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje's second fight. Jan Blachowicz is fighting Alex Pereira, which is pretty exciting. I think Tony Ferguson's fighting Bobby Green. I think Derek Lewis is on there about to fight that Marcos Rogerio de Lima, that big boy. I think Michelle Pereira is fighting Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, which is exciting. We got a lot of fights on there for real. And I think, Michael Chiesa, Kevin Holland. So, the one thing that I really want to sit here and talk about, though, is... I was super ecstatic for this Justin Gaethje Dustin Poirier rematch, but the thing that's kind of pissing me off now is I don't know if you guys saw this, but the UFC just announced that this is going to be for the BMF title, the vacant BMF title, and I'm starting to say here, man, it's just frustrating, dude. You're telling me the PFL comes out with the signing of Francis, the biggest signing in forever, all these things, they literally broke the MMA world with all the stipulations and shit in this contract, and like I've mentioned before about ONE and, Bellator and all these things. And the UFC can come at us with a pay-per-view that's pretty stacked, but the best thing that they can give us instead of a title fight's a BMF fight. I'm sorry, man. The baddest motherfucker. I just don't like this belt. I don't know about you guys. I don't like how the UFC's kind of flip-floppy on it either. 1 second they're all about the Nate Diaz-Jorge fight, and then every time it's been brought up since, oh, is Jorge ever going to defend it, or is it ever going to be on there again? They're like, no, we're not going to ever bring it back out. And then they take one of the fans' most favorite fights probably ever, the most ecstatic fight that we've been looking forward to in forever with Gaethje and Poirier too, and we throw a BMF title on there. I'm just really confused currently. Are we actually fighting for the baddest motherfucker, or are we just giving these guys who can't win the actual belt of their division, are we just giving them a chance to get their name out there a little bit more? Because I don't know, I'm just confused. Jorge Masvidal, quote unquote, wins this BMF title with a cut over Nate Diaz when he who knows how that fight could end. Nate Diaz is the man when it comes to later rounds, and Poirier looked like he was starting to, kind of tail off, but luckily for him, the cut gets in the way. But then fucking Poirier goes on and never wins another fight in the UFC. Literally gets his ass knocked out by Kamaru, loses bad to Colby, loses bad to Gilbert. And it's like, okay, well, if that's our baddest motherfucker in there, like, that has something to say. And then now, even though I love Dustin Poirier, I love Justin Gaethje, no offense to these guys, but they're not the baddest motherfuckers in their own division, let alone in the UFC. Like, I love these guys, but I mean, did we not see what Islam did to these guys already? I mean, I'm just saying, like, did we not see what Habib did to both these guys already? Like, I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't. It's just tough, dude. I'm sitting here wondering what their like motive is with this. It's just crazy how the UFC has always been king, but all of a sudden our other promotions or other organizations are out here, announcing some really big breaking news things, and the UFC can only come at us with a BMF belt. I'm just confused, guys. I don't know if you guys like the BMF belt. I feel like, when the UFC used to promote, as real as it gets, this is where the best fighters are, this is where the best fights are always going to be. And we take a really, really big main card, a really big pay-per-view, and we throw a BMF title on it to main event it. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I just don't get it. It feels like if this was actually going to be like the baddest motherfucker, like, I thought it would have been perfect for the Volk or Islam fight, you know what I'm saying, where it's champion versus champion. Or if we're going to do, any other one, it's, John Jones fighting maybe for it or something like that. Like, I just don't get how we're sitting here and we're giving, no offense to Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje, those guys would beat the fucking shit out of me. They're top 5 for the last I don't know how many years for a reason. They're dogs. It's just, they're not the best in their own division, let alone the baddest motherfucker in the UFC. So, I don't want to be a broken record or anything. I just want to know what you guys feel about it, honestly, because it's cool and all. It just feels like a miss, dude. It just feels like a hit and miss. Like, it's like, I don't know. I just don't know. I love both these guys. I'm really excited for this fight, but it kind of just puts a damper on it just a tad. Like, that we got a BMF belt now. Like, I don't know. I just wish it was a little more consistent. It doesn't even need to be a belt. I would watch this as a main event for a pay-per-view regardless. And I don't know. You guys let me know, because I mean, it could be me overreacting per usual, or it could just be me being like, maybe talking to the masses here and people agree. So, let me know how you guys feel. Again, I am very ecstatic for this fight. I'm nervous that Tony Ferguson, this could be the death of him in the UFC. Wonderboy Thompson, Michelle Pereira fight could actually be a lot of, excitement. Even though Wonderboy is probably going to outclass him, Michelle does have that awkward style that's probably really hard to train and really hard to mimic. So it could be a really good fight. The Jan Blachowicz Alex Pereira fight, I'm pretty excited about too. I think it's going to be a huge test for Alex. I'm excited, and I kind of like how they just said, "Hey, Paulo, you wanna sit here and kind of fuck around and tell us who you're going to fight or who you're not going to fight? Oh, well, we're going to give you this guy who's a killer, who's not even ranked yet. And you're probably going to lose, and you're going to lose, all of your hype." So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with this fight card. It's just a little upsetting. This BMF belt just doesn't make sense to me. But as always, your boy Steven Moustaris. Let's go, baby.